Hi, everybody. This is Tim Rivers of J6 Patriot News. And once again, we're bringing you back to part 2 of the interview with the Hamners. Last week with Tom, you really heard the story about what went on with him and the family on January 6th. But I told you there's a deeper side to this. The type of government intrusion that we often hear about, but hopefully never have it happen to ourselves. They've got a story to tell that needs to be heard. And so I've asked Steph to come back and just kind of fill us in on that side of the story and tell us where it sits today. So thank you for coming on today and sharing this with us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here. So you guys met my husband last week and you got to hear part of kind of the beginning chapter of the government overreach with his story. He had gotten released to the halfway house, I believe it was about a year ago. And when he was in prison for about I'd say less than a year, my daughter and I had taken a trip to Nashville to go to a Christian concert series. And my daughter did struggle with some mental health problems, borderline personality disorder, OCD, stuff like that. But she had been in treatment successfully for 7 years in Colorado, where we live. And she happened to have a little bit of a meltdown when we were in downtown Nashville on 2nd and Broadway. She does have a history of claiming false abuse. That is a pattern of borderline children. DCS has investigated this several times in Colorado, actually, successfully. So DCS knew our name in Colorado and was like, they said we were fine. They would come and meet with our daughter, and they would tell her, that she would have delusions of being adopted or being in foster care. Like she was wanting to do that. Part of her disorder was to kind of detach from her mom. So she had an incident where we were downtown, and she was really, anytime she's feeling ashamed or embarrassed, she would have blow-ups, we call them. Sometimes it would lead to self-harm. Sometimes it would lead to, running away. But honestly, she was doing quite well in Colorado. She had been hospitalized, I'd say, probably once over the previous year. Which we thought it was bad back then, and then we didn't really realize, what we were getting ourselves into in the future at that time. So she had fallen down on the street, saying, "Get away from me! Don't touch me!" Doing her whole charades that she does, and I'm so used to this behavior here, and I'm just like, "Get up, come on, get up!" Just thinking it was going to be a regular day, and I had bopped her on the butt with my boots. I was carrying my boots in my hand, and I bopped her on the butt to kind of cheer her up. I was like, "You don't got to let this ruin your whole day. Just trying to keep things light." And that was all it took. It was the end of the world. And with the charades that she was exhibiting, all of these, I would call them mama bears, came and swarmed her and said, "Get away from her. Don't touch her." And I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I was like, I thought it was a joke. I really thought it was a joke. They wouldn't let me near her. And they wouldn't let her come with me. So I was like, okay. And they were already on the phone with police. So I was like, all right. So I went across the street and I picked up my car, and I drove around the block. I pulled right in front of them to have my daughter get in the car. They would not let her in the car, and she did not want to get in the car whatsoever. She was like, "Nope, I'm not getting in there, and you can't make me." So I decided that the best idea would be to go to my Airbnb, which was 5 minutes down the road, wait for the police to call me and sort this whole thing out. Thought it was going to be open and shut case, pretty easy. We go through these incidents in Colorado, regularly. So it wasn't anything new to me. I did not realize that when the police did contact me, they would be arresting me for child abuse and neglect. No, not even hearing my side of the story, not even caring about my side of the story. The only story that they had was what the mama bears thought they saw, which they didn't see anything. I wasn't beating my child in front of 200 people in broad daylight and in downtown Nashville. And that was that. So I spent the night in jail. I had to pay a $5,000 bond. And it was like one of the worst nights of my life, to be honest. I have some really good friends that I was able to lean on. And then we had court, I believe 3 days later, the first court hearing. But this incident happened on a Friday, and it was literally impossible to get an attorney over the weekend to assist with anything. So I was able to find